Hello, my loves. Hello. Welcome to August 2020's Energy Update. We have a lot to talk about. So when you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Corey, when you're on, let me know that you are here and that you can see me. I am super excited. Yay! Awesome. You can hear me and see me. Beautiful. Okay. We have a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to give it a second and allow for everybody to pop on. I know I didn't give you guys a ton of warning that I was going to be doing this today. Today is also the full moon. And for those that have been experiencing this energy, normally I start feeling the full moon energies about 5 days out. And this time it was a little bit before that. And it was just this most intense portal of energy that I've experienced in a while. And this full moon that we are in right now, like we are in the peak of this full moon energy, is one of the most transformational moons of the entire 2020 year, of this whole entire year. This energy is so intense and expansive. And for some people, it's going to feel like suffering. You're going to be a lot of body aches and pains. You're going to have headaches or feeling like your head is blown open, or extreme exhaustion for a lot of people, right? A lot of integration happening. So whatever you are feeling in your body and whatever emotions are arising, whatever's happening for you in particular, because not everybody is that way. For me, this moon has been intense in the way of information. It has opened up. I can't even tell you, for a lot of you guys know that in 2 days from now, on Wednesday, the 5th, I'm going to be doing about a 2-hour live event, bringing forth some information that I have been receiving over this past week. It's a lot of information, a lot of intense information, but it's great. So I have been channeling like nobody's business. That's what I've been doing. I've been channeling and resting. So hi, everybody. Hi, Terilyn. Glad you guys are joining me. So let me know how you guys have been experiencing the full moon. And know that this energy is actually going to last a few more days. On top of that, we have Lionsgate, and Lionsgate is August 8th. It is Saturday in the US. And we're going to talk about that and all this energy for just a minute, because there's 3 energetic themes that are running this month. And we have to take into account all things, right? So this isn't just about planetary alignments. I am not an astrologer, though I am very connected to the outer planets. I do have a deep connection with them. I use them a lot in my healing work. The way that I read energy, especially for energy updates, it's a conglomerate. I can't even speak. Of everything. So I receive from my team, I receive from the planets, I receive from Gaia, and it all just kind of comes together. And so we bring these themes together. And so there are going to be planetary influences. There are going to be moon influences. There are going to be cosmic alignments and all of that. So it's not necessarily always going to be one particular thing. I've been seeing a lot of people online recently asking, what's going on in the cosmos? Like, what conjunction is happening? And, because they're feeling angry, or they're feeling exhausted, or, there's a lot going on in your body. And I want to remind you that your body is what's ascending. Okay. Your consciousness is expanding. And so it's very important for us to listen to our body, to feel what is being triggered in our body, because all the energy is doing is pushing a button of something that already lives inside of you, whether it's pain or energy. When the body starts expressing pain or discomfort, that means there's something that you aren't seeing or hearing. There's something that you haven't been giving awareness to. And so it's going to alert you any way it can, literally the path of least resistance. So that might be a jerk coming up to you in a grocery store and expressing judgment or anger or losing their shit. It may be you getting sick. It may be your body and your back having spasms, right? There's a lot of people who are experiencing Kundalini energy right now. And sometimes that Kundalini energy can be painful. And sometimes that Kundalini energy can be really nice, really joyful and exciting. So there is no right or wrong of what you're experiencing. I will tell you, because I just got, it just started coming in. You guys are going to be receiving an activation through my words, through my eyes, through my energy. As you sit and listen to this, you may even notice that my voice will have a very high pitch underneath it at times. All of that is normal. There's nothing wrong with my audio. There's nothing wrong with you. If you feel tired or kind of nod off a little bit during this activation, during this transmission of this energy update, know that that's okay as well. This is going to be an activation for your heart and high heart. It's going to be bringing in joy, peace, and harmony. Really kind of just bringing this rebalancing to you, really helping people gain a little bit of clarity. Tara Lynn says it's pretty intense today, but I have been feeling this way since last week. It feels like purging. Absolutely. And yeah, this exactly, Tara Lynn, this last week, this energy was not a normal, typical full moon. It felt very, very intense. The portal felt very magnified, and it was magnified by this Lionsgate energy. So the Lionsgate portal actually opened on July 26th, and it will last until about the 12th. But here's where I'm going to differ from a lot of other people is I really believe that while you may not feel the intensity after the 12th of, say, the Lionsgate portal, the true Lionsgate, the true opening, the true pathway being revealed will happen on the new moon in Leo. And the new moon is going to be on August 18th, 19th. So, hi, Tanya. So the new moon in August is really going to be that pathway being revealed. So the Lionsgate energy, I know I'm going to be a little bit all over the place. I'm very quantum today. I've just done another DNA session earlier. So I have a lot of my galactic team with me today, a lot of light beings. So bear with me as I try to bring it into a linear perspective. The Lionsgate energy is kind of like the seer. It's going to be a lot of revealing energy, a lot of seeing through the veil, curtains being pulled back. And you guys have already started seeing this. We don't need to talk about the conspiracies or the deep state or any of that stuff. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But I want you to, if you guys are interested in what's happening in the world and what's happening within you, then you'll want to tune in on Wednesday, because I'll be talking a little bit about that then. But this Lionsgate energy is really like, the way that they show me is like these two curtains being pulled back and like this beautiful pathway being revealed. And this pathway, and that's kind of why I chose the image that I did, is because it kind of looks like a barren desert. It kind of looks like this long mirage effect, this long narrow path. It's not really narrow, but this long pathway or bridge that's going to be revealed. And what this is this is the crossing of dimensional planes. And so while Gaia is evolving, and we'll be talking about this more on Wednesday, but as Gaia is evolving, the first, second, third dimensions don't go anywhere, you guys. We just expand even further, and there's more revealing. So energetically, that the collective is starting to tip into the fourth dimensional energy. And so as that's happening, the fourth dimensional plane is opening up in Gaia. And this is bringing this pathway into the fifth dimensional energetic frequency, right? So this fifth dimensional consciousness. Gaia is not, while Gaia has actually moved into the fifth dimensional plane, we collectively have not. And so that pathway is opening, and it's allowing for people to begin to take that journey. And so for some, this is going to be a liberation from the third dimension to the fourth dimension in their consciousness. And with Mars being a really big player, and, you know, Mars has a lot to do with your sciatica. It has a lot to do with your kundalini. It has a lot to do with your lower back. So anybody having any kind of energy in that area, know that there's probably a Mars influence. But remember, we live in a dualistic plane of existence. So it's never going to be this or that. It's always going to be this and that. And what do I mean by that? So Mars is a good thing, but it's with everything, it's a double edge, right? It has two sides. So for those coming from the third dimension into the fourth dimensional in their consciousness, there's going to be a lot of anger. There's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be a lot of rage. There's going to be a lot of just fear and resistance, and this ickiness just coming up like flame just shooting up. and it's going to come out of nowhere sometimes, right? And so we've already seen a little bit of this happening because this energy is very similar, if actually more intense than when we first went on lockdown. When we first collectively went in lockdown, right? This is the energy. This was the planetary alignment. There was Mars and Jupiter, and there's this Capricorn energy. There's all this ignition, liberation, explosion. So think about what we're going through collectively over the next 2 to 4 years is this massive restructuring. And for that to happen, there has to be a deconstruction. So when I see that, it's literally like, remember the old Vegas Strip when they started blowing up the casinos? It's like that. It's like this explosion that just goes up your spine. Just like that. Just like when you see them explode those buildings in Vegas, where it's just like, it just starts moving up, right? And so for some, this is going to happen really, really fast. So you could be out somewhere and someone could flip their switch and people can be more irritable or just lose their shit and be more explosive. And so I tell you this because everything I'm going to talk about today, the best way for us to navigate forward is to be in our unconditional presence of ourselves, knowing thyself, right? I talk about boundaries a lot, and boundaries are who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you tolerate, what you don't tolerate, what is going to be in your best interest versus what someone else's best interest, right? It's understanding what you need. And so when you have that unconditional presence with yourself, tuning into your body, your emotions, what's yours, having that good discernment of what's yours and what's not, what's collective and what's yours. It's not about blocking it out or creating an energetic fence or, those old paradigms of, energetic bubbles of protection. And if that's something you still need, there's no judgment by me. Trust me. We all go through this process, right? But it's knowing that discernment of what's actually yours and what's not and how it's affecting you. Because once you attach to something, once you take something personal, so if somebody does go off on you, if someone is super angry with you and you take that as a personal attack on yourself, you have attached to that energy in that moment. The same way when you have negative thoughts that you attach to that energy, now you've made it yours and now you're going to have to process it. Now you're going to have to work through it. So being present and being as aware as you possibly can of yourself is how you're going to navigate from this moment forward. Really, I mean, this is how it's always been, but understanding that from this moment forward, that's going to be something that if you have not mastered presence, discernment, boundaries, awareness, these are some things that you're going to want to really start diving into for yourself. So the other side of that Mars energy, right, is freaking phenomenal. So just like the shadow, it has a light side. It has a higher vibrational octave. It has a balance and a super conscious level to it. And so for some, you're going to feel the inspiration of Mars. You're going to feel this get up and go. You're going to feel like all these downloads coming in, all this inspiration, all these ideas, all this excitement, anything that you have been procrastinating on, right? So this Mars energy actually started a little, I'm going to say about a week ago. But if you've been procrastinating on anything, it's not going to be a good thing. So procrastination is not recommended moving forward. It's about listening to when you're meant to do something and doing it. We don't want that attack on your nervous system. We don't want that pressure, that rush of energy. But that's what can happen if you are not present with all parts of yourself. And so what I mean by that is if you're intuitively through your higher self, you get this amazing download, you get this amazing idea, and you're like, yes, this is it. I'm going to go create this. And you start chasing after that, right? This is the problem of the visionary, right? And I know this because I'm a visionary, and this is what has happened to me in the past. And so you start chasing your higher self. You start booking it. You're like, I can't catch up. I can't catch my breath. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough money. I need more people. I need more of me. It's this acceleration of, I gotta go, right? Ironically, I experienced a lot of this at the beginning of last year, and I had to stop and learn to heal my time wound because I was chasing my higher self. I was chasing my visions, and I wasn't bringing all of myself with me. And so the Mars energy is that ignition. It's that liberator. It's like it's go time. But here's the thing that they were very, very clear on. Yes, it may be go time. It may be your busy season. A lot of healers, a lot of light workers, a lot of those who are ready to step into the teacher role, who are ready to step into that guru, guide, whatever you want to call them, role, they're going to feel that pressure of the call to action, the call of their team coming forth and saying, it's your time now. It's your time to create. It's your time to be of service. But they're never going to pressure you. It's always going to unfold just as it's meant to. And so I ask you right now to stop, because I can feel that energy, right? And let's take a breath. And let's remind ourselves that time does not exist. It's something that us humans created. And so all we are required to do is to breathe and be present with ourselves and to tune in if something is in its timing, if we're meant to do something today, if this is something that is meant to be handled right now in this moment. Or are you being guided to create a plan and start preparing for your vision, for your inspiration, for your creation? Are you being asked to lay it all out, right? Really just mind dump and heart dump and just channel the inspiration that's coming through you, the guidance that's coming through you, and get the from A to Z plan written out, right? And start preparing. Okay, what is the first step I need to take? And remembering that every day you need to take that time to be present with yourself, to slow down, to rest, to not push, to not force, to not hurry. Because when you feel that pressure, you're already out of alignment in that moment. So when you feel that pressure, can be a ticking time bomb that is really terrible for your nervous system. And so I invite you, when you feel that pressure, to lay on the floor. Go stand out in the grass with your bare feet. Take a shower, take a dip in your pool, take 20 minutes to just fully be present with your body and remind yourself that there is no time doesn't exist, and that you can slow down and allow for things to unfold in divine timing. Okay? I cannot say this enough, because a lot of us, including myself, which I'll be talking about towards the next energetic theme, but we're going to be with the soul tribe activation that came in a couple of months ago in June. Remember in June, I talked about we had a huge soul tribe activation, soul family activation. You're going to start having this influx of clients. I know I have. People that I never even knew were following me, never even knew that they knew who I never saw them. I never knew anything about them. I've had a huge influx of clients coming to me. It's time. There's these activations that are drawing people karmically to you, and it will continue to unfold. And same with the inspiration, same with your reveal of your spiritual teams and the people that are working with you on the other side. Right? So it's really about being in tune with you. So this is the first, I've kind of gone a little over the place, but stay with me. I'm going to pull it back and kind of bring this into a little bit more of linear fashion. So we have 3 energetic themes this month. The first one is opportunity, and opportunity meaning there's something knocking at your door, right? Maybe what's knocking at your door is what I was just talking about, an influx of clients, the inspiration, the creation coming through, new opportunities. Maybe your soulmate's showing up. Maybe your twin flame is showing up, right? It can be literally anything, but it can also bring the shadow aspect. This could be energies that this is just kind of dredging up, right? This process of dredging is going to be happening all year. You're not going to escape it. What could be knocking at your door? What is all of these old aspects of you that you have repressed, hidden away, maybe you're not even aware of, that came through in past lives. Talking about that more on Wednesday too. It could be dormant stuff from your childhood, from infancy, stuff that you don't even remember, that you can't even connect to a visual memory, but these energies are being dredged up to the surface. And so for some, it can be experiencing emotions or fears or anxieties or stresses about things that you're like, I don't know why I'm having this. I don't know where it's coming from. You don't have a cognitive, conscious awareness of what that emotion is connected to. And I'm going to tell you, you don't need to. You don't need to. Something that they showed me is it's literally feeling that energy in your body, feeling where that resistance is, and leaning into it. And so when I talk about leaning into it, it's like if you've ever experienced a dense wall of fog, and you slow down and you start driving really slow into that fog. As you start to drive into that wall of fog, what happens? You begin to see things. You begin to have a little bit more clarity, right? And so that's what I mean. When you feel that resistance in your body, when you feel those uncomfortable emotions, you're going to be leaning into it. And you're going to be honoring it, not judging it, not shaming it, not beating yourself up for it, not trying to escape it, not trying to exorcist it out of you. It's about being with it because it is a part of you. And so I know that there's a lot of people that are going to be experiencing that as well. And so that may be the opportunity that's knocking at your door. And it is an opportunity. You guys, there is so much wisdom held trapped in our body from epigenetics, right? Just like Gaia has 12 dimensions, we have 12 strands of DNA. We have all this energy. We have 12 frequencies in our auric field. And so we have hold all of this energy and all of this density in our bodies from all the lives that we have lived, from all of our ancestors, from all who came before us, right? Because everything's really happening in the now moment. But because it's really happening all in the now moment, it's all active in our body. And this is why I can't stress enough that our body is what's ascending. Our body is what's ascending. And so this year, more and more people are going to get sick. This year, more and more people are going to have body issues because of this ascension, right? And this being a really powerful year for the body. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes what comes up in your body isn't necessarily linearly or cognitively connected to this now moment, this now timeline. But because all of our past lives and all of our ancestors and everything is all happening in this now moment, whether you realize it or not, it is active in your body. It is being activated in your body, right? Because some of it's going to be dormant until it's time, until that cosmic button is pushed and that energy is released. That means when it's released, you are ready to see it. You are ready to feel it. You are ready to acknowledge it, to honor it, to be with it. So there's a lot of that happening. And I'll tell you, for some, especially with this moon energy and everything else happening, this first energetic theme that we're talking about with opportunity, it can feel like we're processing grief. And grief is not just about somebody dying. It's about a part of our soul that we gave away, or we disassociated, or we pushed away, right? So sometimes we give a part of our soul away to somebody and they pass away and we feel that deep ache inside of us, right? We just have to take that energy that we were giving to that person and give it back to ourselves. And so the grief that we are all feeling collectively is associated with the massive change that is happening on a collective level, because nothing will ever be the same. Nothing is ever going to go back to being the same. Even if something appears to look similar, it's not going to be energetically. And so our bodies are feeling this intense grief inside of us. It literally feels like we're dying. It feels like we're losing control. It feels like we have no power. That is grief. And it's deeply associated to some of the most massive core wounds that lay dormant at the bottom of our well. And so as you're processing through this grief, it's going to feel like death sometimes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Doing this work is not always fun. It's not love and light. And the more you use meditation, the more to escape it, the more you use trying to get into a high vibe or trying to be positive in order to escape it, the actual more resistant you become to yourself, the more disassociated you come from yourself, the more separate you come from yourself, the more soul loss you feel, the more disconnected you feel. If you want to get closer to you, if you want to move through that energy, you have to learn to embrace that pain, because it's about taking that ride, the pain and the pleasure. You can't have intense periods of joy and pleasure if you've never experienced pain or discomfort. You won't have an appreciation for it. It's a part of that spiral, that cycle. So that's really important for you guys to be aware of. And with this moon energy, and I was talking about how it's super intense, the biggest of the year, it's because this energy is like, I'm going to yank that rug out from underneath you. If you're into tarot, it's the Tower card. It's big, huge shifts, relationships, money, business, jobs, moving, nothing's off the table. It will affect everybody in a different way, but this moon energy is about, it's time to flip this bitch. It's time to flip the script, and it's time to shake it up, because it's time for us to get shifting and moving. And the only way that we can collectively move this many people and this many energies into more of a synergy frequency, right? Because we're not even going to get to union yet, but just into synergy, is through pressure, is through intensity. And this intensity that we're feeling right now, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is the next 5 months, you guys. It's not always going to be this intense, mind you. We're going to have periods of fluctuation of intensity. But this energy that we're in right now that's being activated, this is the deconstruction over the next 5 months. And going a little off script is, I'll tell you, and it keeps coming up, so I'm just going to talk about it. Between the third week of December, and now let me tell you something. I normally don't give these kind of dates because time is so fluid. It's not really, it doesn't really exist. But when I was feeling this energy, I was guided to a calendar so that I could bring this linear perspective. So this is the kind of window that I'm talking about a little bit, I'm going to say around the third week of December into the second week of January, sometime in that time frame, there's going to be something massive that happens. I don't know if it's going to be a mass event or if it's just going to be a mass energetic event, but there's something really, really big that this energy is building up to. And this is going to be a very pivotal shift for us to really help us hit that fast lane. Okay. And so they're bringing that up. So I wanted to kind of drop that right now, being that we're in August, that's coming. Okay. The second energetic theme for August, it's kind of the pathway, right? So it's like a bridge, a connection point, a current. It's like a funneling of energy. And at the beginning of this, it still felt really intense. And so that's why I'm like, this new moon on the 18th, 19th, depending on where you are in the world, in Leo is really going to be the ushering in of this Lion Gate energy. It's really going to be this, it's almost like all this intensity, this expansion that we're going through right now, all this purging, this upheaval. It's like this energy just like flowing like this. And it just is creating, and then it's just going to all kind of funnel and create this pathway. And this pathway is your point of rebalancing, the point of you taking that journey dimensionally in consciousness from third to fourth, or from fourth to fifth, or for some, it's going to be from fifth to sixth. I'll tell you, I go through periods where I go from 5D to 7D My base frequency is meant to be at a 7D level, but I had to spend a lot of this year learning how to be human and learning how to really ground myself. And so I kind of had to drop my energy field into going back from 4 and 5D for a little while because I was so disassociated. I was spiritually bypassing for probably from 2017, if I'm going to call myself out, 2017 to the beginning of 2019. I was using spiritual bypassing as a tool, and I will never do that again. I had to learn to be human. I had to learn to bring all of my team, all of my energy, all of my knowing, all of my sensory into my body and feel it from the inside out. No longer connecting outside of myself, really just bringing that energy inside of me. Like it's inside of me right now. I could tell you I feel high because the energy is so high, but it's in my body. It's inside of me. I don't have to connect to anything outside of me. So I want you guys to realize that this is a bridge, a connection point of a pathway where you're going to take this journey. So you are going to be moving from 5D to 6D. You are going to be moving out of the duality game and being more of the observer of the duality game, because duality is that third, fourth, fifth, right? It's the third dimensional frequencies to the fifth dimensional frequencies. But when you start getting into the sixth and seventh, you're more of the observer of everything. You don't really give a shit what anybody else is doing. You don't care if people wear a mask or they don't wear a mask. You don't care if people take care of themselves or they don't. Like, you wish them the best, but you realize that everything is cyclical, and that, as I'm going to be talking about Wednesday, everything has a space in its evolution. Every person has a stage that they need to go through, and you can look at somebody and you can recognize where they are in their consciousness, where they are in their journey, however long they need to stay there. So you kind of release that judgment. You kind of release that, and you just become the observer, right? And you just become noticing things and seeing where people are. It's quite an interesting experience. So, but this is where we're going to see that split in consciousness, is what they're calling it. And this split is going to be, of that duality, is going to be very defined. And what I mean by that is you are going to see some serious suffering happening in the world. And then you're going to see some serious thriving in the world. And it's going to be like, what is happening? Literally, it's going to be a split. So we have these splits in our consciousness that I'll be talking about Wednesday. You're going to hear me say that a lot. So just get used to it. We have these splits that happen in our consciousness that creates fragments. Well, we're going to see this fragmentation happen in the world. And some people already see this, but it's really going to become rampant. So some may see this as the red or blue pill. Some may see this as dark or light, good or evil. It's just a split in consciousness, you guys. It's just people who are stuck in suffering, who refuse to take ownership, who refuse to feel into their body, who refuse to take responsibility, to acknowledge where they are in their life and their journey, who refuse to do this inner work, who refuse to look at themselves in the mirror instead of blaming, right? You know, those people on Facebook that are out there on the blame game about this, that, and the other, with everything that's happening in the world. Shame on you for this. Hey guys, let me show you this. It's all of that. You're going to see that suffering going on in the world. And then you're going to see the flip side, because this is a dualistic universe. It's a mirrored reality. You're going to see the flip side. You're going to see people's money lines opening. You're going to see people's soul tribes coming in. You're going to see new leaders arriving on the scene. You're going to be seeing false light fall. Okay? This isn't just celebrities. This isn't just gurus that you would consider light leaders in the world, or global leaders, or gurus, or whatever you want to call them, the Oprahs and Tony Robbinses of the world. You're going to see a lot of them fall. You're going to see the revealing of how they can no longer keep that up. That not enough wound, that comes from when people cannot sustain their vibration because it's not coming from the right place. You're going to see the rise of the new leaders, people showing up on the scene, right? This would be that person finally making it, finally hitting it, right? Hitting that space in their journey. You're going to see people stepping up and creating communities and doing things and being of service, not just to be of service, but also to be of service to self. You're going to be seeing that shift. You're going to see it very clearly. Wow, there's all these people who are out traveling and having a good time and living their life. Like, what are you doing? Aren't you worried? And then you're going to see these other people who are like in massive suffering and fear-based blame, right? And this is part of the reason why I have to bring forth what I'm bringing forth on Wednesday, so that you guys can really understand and help yourselves and understand what's happening in the world today has nothing to do with what's being shown on the TV. It has nothing to do with the alternative news. It has nothing to do with blood drinking and pedophilia. It really doesn't. So tune into that on Wednesday if you really want to know what's happening in the world. You really want to get a deep sense of it. Again, because it's this and that. So we can't ignore what that is, but we have to acknowledge the other side of it as well. So as you see this split in consciousness, this is when you're going to see people off to the races. You're going to be people hitting that fast lane. You're going to be seeing people taking off, right? And then you're going to see these other people way back behind, struggling and suffering, and it looking like we're just leaving them behind. But there's two sides to everything, and every single person gets a choice. Every single person has choice consciousness inside of them. You have free will. Every decision you make, every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take is going to open an infinite number of doors or close an infinite number of doors, all at the same time. So you need to be very aware and present with where your thoughts, words, and actions are stemming from. Is it stemming from fear? Is it stemming from a limiting belief? Is it stemming from a paradigm? Is it stemming from something that was conditioned or programmed into you? Or is it coming from a more expansive place? Is it coming from your heart space? Is it coming from a sense of faith in something outside of you, of something bigger than you, of that this is just a micro of the huge macro, and a very important process. So that is the pathway, and that's the journey that we take. You get a choice. Have you ever seen those memes with the split two roads? You want to go suffer, or do you want to thrive? It's your choice every time, every time. The third theme for August is allowing. It's a forgiving energy. I'll tell you, at the end of August, after, let's see, a few days after, when the new moon portal closes, we're going to be having a 10-day portal activation in August. Again, think about those in the middle of the month who chose to thrive, who chose to take that thriving path. This is them literally getting on the expressway. They're going to be entering into a 10-day cosmic portal. So this is going to be, you'll experience solar winds. So again, for those who don't know what that is, you're going to feel the energy coming in. We can measure it now through solar winds, but you'll feel that cosmic energy coming in, the photonic light, and it comes through the sun. It's an activation. Okay, you're going to be feeling that energy, and then within a few days of that energy coming in, usually 2 to 3 days from photonic energy streaming in, it begins to anchor and ground into Gaia, which then spikes the Schumann. Okay, and so you're going to be having the end of August, even though it's not really, depending on where you are in your consciousness, it's either going to be super intense in a good way, or it's going to be super intense in a bad way. If it's super intense in a good way, this is going to feel like you jumping in a white river raft and just freaking going. You're going down the river. You're not tense. You're not fighting it. You're a full allowing. You're like, let's go. And you're just allowing that boat you're just trusting that boat, and you're just going down that river right? So this is like, that gushing water. Your flow of consciousness is all the way on and you're just going. But what's the other side of that, you guys? If you're in suffering, you're in the boat, but you have decided to jump out of the boat and face the whitewater raft, the whitewater, head on and decide to start walking upstream. That's going to be painful. It's going to be painful. It's going to be suffering, a lot of suffering. So I want to make sure you see that, because here's the thing. With this split in consciousness, there's going to be a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy, a lot of competition coming up to the surface. So for those of you who are still working through your stages, through your phases of your evolution, you're still doing the work and you maybe not hit that space yet. It's not your time yet. You may have a lot of jealousy triggered. You may have a lot of, I'm hearing some people already are, but you may have some jealousy or envy triggered that why isn't it my time? Why isn't it my turn? Why isn't this happening yet? And what they say is you need to sit and honor that. You need to sit and use that as an opportunity once again to make space inside of you, because you can't be successful in this life if you're constantly comparing your life to somebody else's. Because again, it's like, I need to draw it. So it's just a circle, right? So you may be here, someone else may be here. This is weird to do it on here. Someone else may be here, and you're comparing, but you're not supposed to be where they are yet. You still have work to do. You're still on that pathway, journeying from one space to another. And along that way, you're doing the work, right? And doing the work is not a hard thing. It's a commitment thing. It's a commitment to self. It's you committing to understanding, knowing, feeling, loving all parts of you, the good, the bad, and the funky, the stuff that makes you want to throw out your freak flag. So the end of August in this 10-day portal is going to be a massive rebirthing. It's going to be a period of deep transmutation, and it's going to be making a lot of space. So they're bringing me back to the beginning of our first one, the first energetic theme, the energy that we are in right now. And what they're saying is, while there is this reveal happening, that there is this great reveal, which also allows people to see, begin to see clear, like more clearer, begin to see like the owl energy, see through the illusion, seeing through the belief system, seeing through the bullshit that's being shown on TV or in the media or wherever you're looking at it. It's about seeing through that. But if you are not in that vibration, if you are not in the vibration of allowing yourself to see all sides, to see that whatever it is that is being shown to you, or whatever it is that you are feeling, or whatever it is that you are hearing is only opportunity and possibility, no matter how prospectively bad it looks. If you are not in that vibration, it's going to be the reverse effect. It's going to be a psychosis feeling. It's going to be a spiraling down, a deep confusion, really leading you into, again, a deep space of grief inside of you. And I want to tell you right now, I'm going to send love through every single person who's going through that right now in this moment, who is feeling that deep depression. This is what I call it. I call it soul tired. When you're soul tired, when you're like, I just cannot do this anymore. I quit. I don't have the energy. I don't have the desire. And I went through that, so I know what that feels like. And I want to hold space for you. And I want to tell you the reason why you feel that way is because you already have a bunch of splits in your consciousness. You already have a lot of fragmentation and inner conflict happening inside of you because you already have spent many, many years not communicating with all parts of you. And this is not just the higher self, the ego, the inner child collective. This is your protector personalities, your fear personalities. You are very multidimensional, whether you realize it or not. And so the more you repress, reject, avoid feeling, looking at yourself in the mirror, feeling it, seeing it, being one with it, honoring it, diving into it, receiving wisdom from it, the more you resist doing that, the further away, the more disconnected you become in yourself, the wider that split gets. And so these parts of you are eternally fighting inside of you, and it just drains you to an unbelievable exhaustion. Some people are exhausted right now because they're integrating. There's a difference. You will know the difference. The integration is, I don't have to do anything. I just know today I need to lay down and sleep, or I need to lay down and rest. Sometimes integration looks like getting the flu. Sometimes integration looks like fasting and you're just laying around. Sometimes integration is like, I'm going to take a vacation and go play. But when you are exhausted to the point of soul tired, you need some help. So when you are down on your knees praying for help, when you are sitting there going, God, bring me somebody, or I wish I could figure this out, and somebody brings you a teacher, a course, a book, a friend, someone, meaning your higher self, aligns you with the very thing that you can learn from. Again, it could be anything. You could be listening to a podcast, be drawn to a new podcast, a new book. Someone new like me could pop onto your timeline out of the blue. You could be called to work with me, or another teacher, or another healer. When that person shows up for you, when that new friend, that new person that's there to help you heal and guide you and navigate you to kind of bring those parts and pieces back together, don't turn away from it, you guys. It'd be like ordering a pizza, and when the pizza man gets there going, nah, I can't accept that. Kind of want pizza today, if you can't tell. So let me get a drink of water before we continue, because we have a lot of energy coming through. And lemon water is going to alkaline your body. And water is a conductor. So being in water, drinking water, showers, baths, pools, oceans, lakes, drinking as much water as you can, eating fruits and vegetables that have a high water content, eating as clean as possible, all highly recommended at this point. Obviously, don't deprive yourself. Nobody ever says we should deprive ourselves. We are here to experience and enjoy things. But sometimes we need to clean ourselves out. Okay. So if you asking for help inside of you and something shows up for you, know that that person is showing up, that book, that podcast, that course, whatever it is, that friend, that new lover is showing up for a reason. You've asked for this. Don't deny yourself. Don't resist it because of some 3D lack consciousness and go backwards. Okay. That was very important for me to return to. Let's see what kind of time we're at. Oh, good. I'm getting a lot better with timing on these, because I want to keep them around an hour because so much energy comes through these. So let me see what else, if I've missed anything. Excuse me. Clearing a lot. Just know, they're just reminding me that this is a bit of a roller coaster that we're going to be on. The end game, if we're looking for an end game, what they've showed me now. Okay, I want to bring this piece in first. When I read the energy, I'm reading a collective of timelines and the probabilities of each of those timelines and what I'm being shown. But with that being said, energy shifts and changes on a constant. It's not something that's created or it's not created, it's not destroyed. It's constantly changing form. So let's say next week, through this intensity that we're feeling, a huge chunk of the collective gets on board and we start moving a lot faster than what, say, most are projecting or predicting. Then everything's going to shift. Everything's going to speed up or change, right? But so when I'm reading from this now moment, in this now moment. And in this now moment, what I am seeing is 2024 is really going to be the start of the fifth dimensional living. And what I mean by the start is when we start creating the new world, like physically. We have a lot going on energetically right now. We have a lot deconstructing. We have a lot shifting, but there's going to be a lot of trial and error. And so there's going to be a lot of new systems that will have been worked through. And there was, by 2024, this is when I'm at this now moment being shown that a lot of those new systems will be in place and the world will begin to really start to live more synergy. I can't even say the word that they're giving me, more in union, more working together. This is when you're going to see more communal activities, more communal living, more returning to farm and less of big box stores, less of ownership, because that's been a big problem, right? So we're going to be less worried about owning something and we're going to be more inclined of sharing something. So this is about your needs getting met, but also benefiting the whole. Do you understand? There's a big difference. And again, they're kind of leading into what's happening on Wednesday. So I want to kind of keep them separate just because the energy is so conducive. I could just start channeling on that forever. And so 2024 is when we're going to begin to see the physicality of things really starting to work together in a new way. So between now and 2024, you're going to see destruction. You're going to see trial and error. You're going to see us trying new things and new ways, because you don't just go from living one way to living another. It doesn't just shift like that. We are humans. We're creator beings. And every time we have an idea, we have to put it out there. We have to see how it works. We gotta work with it. And so there's going to be a lot of trial and error. So again, the very best thing that you guys can do is learn to be present with yourself, learn to be patient, learn to be the observer of your reality, learn not to take things personally, learn to see this as an adventure. I was just telling my girlfriend Tanya the other day, I'm mastering surfing right now. That's what's happening, right? I'm mastering surfing. Because you can love and try surfing and fall, right? And then you can get pretty good at surfing, but you're not at the competition level, right? I'm at the stage where I'm mastering, I'm at the masters of my surfing. I'm working on my trophies at the masters of surfing, if that's a thing, right? Like a masters of golf. I am in that game. And so this is a process from going from the boogie board to mastering your surfing. See and honor where you are on that journey, but know that that means there's going to be big crashes. There's going to be big highs, right? There's going to be things falling together and splitting apart. There's going to be storms. There's going to be stillness. The more you see what's happening in the world as a reflection of what's happening inside of us collectively, the more when you look at things, you will have compassion. And you will see where people are on their journey. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I invite you to show up Wednesday, 12 p.m. As of right now, it will be the same way I'm coming to you live simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook, that there is an opportunity of this shifting. And I'm being open to that if that's what happens. So make sure you register so you know exactly where it's going to be. And we're going to be diving in to what you guys were introduced to Lionsgate last year, which is the soul evolution and the I Am Awake movement. The soul evolution is a part of my divine path. It's part of what I am here to do, building the pathway for those to come after me, right? really setting up the foundational pieces of the new earth learning and how to navigate it from the lower frequencies to the higher frequencies, how to travel. But I'm also going to be showing you the different micros within the macro and what the macro is, and it's going to blow your mind. And this is also going to help you align with your manifestations to step into that aligned flow frequency. It's going to help you understand why you go 10 steps forward to get yanked back 20. You're going to start to understand a lot of this and what you're seeing in the world today and what you're seeing within you. So it's a not to be missed, very special live event. I was actually going to turn it into 2, but I've changed my mind, and I'm going to try to keep this event as elementary as possible, because it's a lot of esoteric information that I need to put into a human perspective for understanding. Because again, it's never this or that. It's this and that. We have to honor the physicality of the game we are playing and also hold the knowing of the higher perspective simultaneously. And this is what it means to step out of duality. And this is why it makes my job so difficult, because I have to honor both perspectives. And I have to bring those kind of together and help intertwine them so you can understand them consciously and then obviously super consciously to really help you expand. So let me see if there's any questions, and just tap into the comments and say hello to all you guys before we wrap today. I will drop in the comments after this broadcast the link to register for Wednesday's event. It's also, if you go to johannaburkhardt.com/events, you will be able to find it there. Let's see. I've been so moody, and my spiritual awakening for the first, I feel lost. There's going to be a lot of people feeling lost and confused. Corey says the energy has been intense for me, and I have been just so exhausted. I've been having some pains as I feel I am purging. Again, lots of purging, guys. Lots of purging. I don't know how to say your name, and I don't have my glasses with me. I think it's Tifa. She says that's how I feel, trying to catch up with my higher self and haven't healed completely. That's really true. That's really true. It's better doing the notes and preparing. Yes. Plan, prepare, and play. Plan, prepare, and play. Everything I'm saying, you guys, that Capricorn conjunction, yeah, that thing is, I'm telling you, that's what we're having right now. It's like Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, all coming into this trine of energy. It's conjunction. I don't know the correct astrological term, so don't hold me to that. But all those big players, Jupiter alone, Jupiter's an expander. So again, like I posted today on my quote today, what you expect, you get. What you focus on, you create. What you focus on, you call in, right? It's a matter of what you're giving energy to. And so when Jupiter comes to play with Mars, you guys, what you give focus on is either going to ignite you and send you on a space shuttle, rocket you to where you're supposed to go, or it's going to weight you down. It's going to expand that density, and you're going to, if you're resisting it, that's going to be one hell of an anchor. It's like sinking a ship. So think about that. Jupiter is a huge player right now, especially when you're mixing it with Mars, with an earthly energy like Capricorn. Like, it's very important for you guys to be super present and super patient with yourselves and super aware of what's happening in your body, what's happening in your mind, why the hell you're doing what you're doing, right? So no judgment here, no blame, no shame, no nothing. If you're one of the people that feel called to keep showcasing what's happening in the fourth dimension, what's happening, with the big reveal, that's fine. But where are you doing it from? Are you doing it from your heart? Are you doing it because you feel guided? Do you feel like it's the most beautiful thing you can do to put people into fear? Or are you doing it to prove a point or to blame or whatever? You really need to check in with yourselves. And whatever you do is fine with me. It's just a matter of you need to check into where your energy is, right? Because that's the energy you're giving. And when that's the energy you're giving, that's the energy you're going to get back some way, shape, or form. So it's really important you guys tune in to what you are giving energy to. Because what you should be giving your energy to, if you want for the best expansion, for the best evolution, is yourself. Right? How is this a mirror of me? How, if something's triggering you, it's like when I was just telling a client over the weekend, I said, when I get triggered, I get excited. Shit, yeah. I get to make some space. What's coming up? Let me sit down. Let me feel this in my body. Let me dive into this energy. Let me really feel it. Triggers are not a bad thing. This work is not, this work is freaking amazing. Definitely been feeling on and off since January. All right, let's see what else. Anything good? How do you know how the energy feels physically? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so again, this comes back to presence and awareness. So when you're next time you're triggered, you guys, or an emotion comes up, I like to use the word triggered because it's what's happening. Someone's pushing a button inside of you. But the next time you feel fear, or even excitement, or joy, the next time you feel pissed off or angry, if you sit down and you feel in your body and say, where does this live? I have tons of courses on this in my Self-Mastery Academy. You can sit down and feel in your body. So where's the resistance in my body? And so when you think about emotions are a symptom. When you're tuning into the resistance, you're going to feel it in your body. Do your bones hurt? Does your chest feel like it's caving in? Right? Here comes the rain. We have a hurricane coming tonight. I'm just doing my thing. So, feel into your body. And when you recognize that this is a lot of the somatic healing I bring into my work. It's about going in and communicating with that part of your body. It's really like, it's like visualizing that part of your body and seeing yourself lean into it and saying, I'm here with you. Like, what information am I not seeing, hearing, acknowledging, becoming aware of? It's really being present with yourself. That was a great question. Just reading through lots of confirmations. Lots of confirmations. Oh, okay. We're going to show this comment. Natasha says, yes, I want to see everyone succeed. I'm excited for the future. I'm feeling great inside and loving it right now. Been doing so much work and was so programmed. I love you and all that you do. Thank you, Natasha. That was an awesome comment. I really love it when people give that kind of love. Anne says the compassion piece has been showing up big time. Yes, that's awesome. Having compassion for where people are in their journey. Like I always say, don't pity somebody. When you pity somebody, you take their power away. Wherever somebody is in their journey, good or bad, it's a choice they made. It's a choice. That roller coaster is going to continue, guys. It's going to continue. Anne says, I love the term soul tired. It's a great description of how I felt. Yeah. Soul tired is the only way I can describe it. And it's not a fun place. So I send you love, Anne. Hi, Gloria. You are super mega helpful and I'm thankful. And I would like to be in touch and work with you whenever I read 5D. My battery is dying, but I was watching this and was grounding myself in nature. Yeah, your batteries, if you guys, I will burn through a battery really quick anytime I'm on. So that's a great, thank you for that comment. You guys can go to johannaburkhardt.com if you want to work with me. I am still in pre-enrollment to my Self-Mastery Academy, where you get your master's degree in you, baby. No more getting degrees from a college. I mean, you may come in, maybe your profession requires you to get a college degree, but if you don't have your master's degree in you, you're not going to trust yourself. You're not going to have a full open money line. You're not going to be open to every opportunity and possibility. Getting your master's degree in you and who you are and what you're about, the energy's lifting. You don't feel so high anymore. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. So if that's something that calls to you, I have made it like ridiculously available for people. So you guys can check it out on going to my website. And also johannaburkhardt.com/events, and registering for Wednesdays. Be dropping some huge knowledge. If you register, you guys will get the MP3 replay, because I am on the fence about leaving this up as just free content, because there is so many layers to this. It is so deep, but it is something that you're going to want to go back and listen to a few times, because it's going to be a lot of information. And the whole purpose of it was to blow your mind. Well, I say that in the frame of it's mind-blowing and exciting, but also it's meant to blow your physical brain so that you have no choice but to drop into your heart and stop trying to logically understand it and instead feel into it and be with it. And so that's how big Wednesdays is going to be. And so I want you to attend. I want you to receive from me and my team fully. So again, johannaburkhardt.com is where you can go if you're interested in working with me, or signing up for even my mailing list to notify when I start doing my monthly paid events again, which are coming. So you can do that as well. And as I close, I want to say one last reminder. The very best thing you can do to navigate this is presence, being super aware of all the things around you and leaving that space for observation. So you're not reacting. So you're allowing yourself to laugh, to make fun of what's happening to you, to have compassion for what's happening in the world as we go through this process of deconstructing so that we can build what new is coming, our new way of living, our new way of thriving. This Gaia has been through this several times, whether you remember it or not. And I'm going to be sharing about that, okay? So be present, be the observer of your reality. Take the time and be patient and give yourself space. You are worthy of your own time. You are worthy of sitting with yourself and conversing with yourself and napping and playing. And you are worthy of that time. We were never meant to come here to work, to live. We were never meant to come here to hustle, to one day retire. It's about the now. So be present, get into your body. Take the time to be patient with yourself and with other people, and stop trying to fix them, trying to mold them, trying to make them be who you want them to be, especially your children. Give them always two choices and open them up to understand who they are instead of making them fit into who you are and where you are and what's going to serve you. Take this time to get to know and be unconditionally present with yourself and another. This, my loves, is how you're going to survive. Okay? So that's it for me. That's a wrap for this August 2020 energy update. If you feel called to share this message, please hit that share button. I will send you lots of love and gratitude and appreciation. And for those who are on the replay, please make sure you let me know where you were watching from so I can send you some love. And I will be back to talk to you guys on Wednesday. Bye.